Well, good evening. Today is the 23rd of February. I hope everybody had a good week, was having a good year thus far. Uh, Today's the first episode of Princess Domain. It's not a restart, it's kind of a revival. Um, I started this podcast 10 years ago, literally in 2014. So yeah, I kind of posted a couple of videos, but I was in the midst of college and dealing with some other stuff as far as work and adulting and everything that comes along with life. So I did not have the real commitment then to really keep the podcast going. So the couple of videos that I did have on there, I got rid of, and the whole Twitter had been sitting, the YouTube had been sitting, everything was just there. I never deleted it; it was just there. So now I'm kind of, I'm in a different space in life. That was 10 years ago. I've had a lot of experience in the past 10 years. I've seen a lot in the past 10 years. Right now, for me, this podcast is not about, it's not about going viral. It's not necessarily about generating views. It's more so about finding people to engage in conversation with, because I ain't really got no friends. I've had the same friend for the past 10 years. So with me, this podcast is kind of a platform for me to get people's point of views on things, express my point of views on things, and hopefully it provides an atmosphere for me to learn from others or from others to learn from me. Who knows? But I don't have any big expectations. Like I don't expect to go viral. I don't expect to have you know, 50,000, 100,000, a million views and all that other shit. I'm just here to do me and here to have conversation, and hopefully, that'll be enough for people to kind of chime in, and for us to grow together as a people, as, whatever we're connected to, whether it be as genders, as races, as nationalities, as human race, or, whatever else. So, firstly, my name is Kyle. For those of you who don't know, I live in South Florida. I'm 30. I'm Black. So, it's just a little bit of stuff about me. Now that that's over. There's a lot of shit that has been going on in literally since December. A lot of what this podcast is going to be is pretty much going to be about politics, religion, life, sexuality, sex, relationships. I really don't get too involved in television. I will have a monthly segment called it's basically I haven't figured out a name for it yet, but it's basically the anime of the month. We'll call it that, where I'll discuss some of my favorite anime shows and dig deeper into my opinions on that, if you're interested in that. That's going to be a separate thing, because I know anime is a very tight knit group of people. It has grown a lot, but not, I wouldn't say that most people watch anime. So that's kind of a separate thing from this, and that'll be posted separately from the overall podcast. So the first thing I want to discuss today is, I believe in December, I'm sure y'all heard about the shit. I'm pretty sure. There was an incident, an occurrence, where There was some information released about P. Diddy, which I'm gonna have to get on that maybe next week. But particularly, a part of that lump sum of information was information brought out about TD Jakes and him attending these parties and him basically swallowing niggas up at these parties that he be participating in. And it said that TD Jakes was out there being a power bottom, basically taking dick from the left, from the right, from the north, from the south, taking whatever dick he could for whatever time he was going to be there. So that was surprising to me. Um, at Diddy's parties, historically, they say that it's pretty wild. You know, they had drugs there. There's a lot of sex going on. You had people giving different accounts of, even people who were minors during that time giving their different accounts of what happened at Diddy's party. But today I want to focus on TJ. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I took part in the shenanigans a little bit. People made some funny ass shit when it came to the TD Jakes and the whole swallowed up and all that other shit. So I did repost some of that shit. But I did not do it under the belief that he actually did it or he was actually there. And that's what kind of makes a difference between myself and some of those people. My overall issue with this whole thing, let's say if he did do all this. If he did do all this, he fucked up. Not fucked up for participating in those actions because he is grown. If that's what he wants to do, then he is free to do that. He's a grown ass man. I don't have a problem with a nigga going to a party and getting pounded on by 20 ass niggas. I don't mind that. If that's what you want to do with your life and your booty hole, you do that. That's cool. My issue would come in the fact of you basically having this front, this facade of being this holy married man, and you're going to these parties doing these things. That's my issue. To look at a congregation and try to tell them to live right and try to convince them that you are living quote unquote right by the Bible. And you're not doing that yourself. You're basically deceiving everyone. Not only this is what was said, but what was also said was that there were some guys that came out and allegedly said that he had been grooming them on I forgot that other pastor's name, on some Creflo Dollar shit, I believe who it was, which is equally as disturbing, to be honest. So and I was debating on whether or not I was going to discuss this today or on a different date, but I'll bring this up too. We have to, I'm not, if he did do it, if I'm not excusing what was done, but what I'm also going to say is that we have to learn how to give people space to be human and to be themselves, especially in the Black community. We have such a defined definition of what family is, of what a man is, of what a woman is, of what our roles are, that it does not give us space to be anything else or even anything that could be better for us as individuals. And that's my issue at the root of it. Why are we, I understand as Black people, we have this need to be close knit, being that we are minorities in a country that currently oppresses us, as well as in the past has oppressed us in much brutal ways, much more brutal ways. But at the same time, you have to let people be people because we're all individuals. There was a statement that was made on an episode of Justice League, the animated TV show, and the Justice League was having issues and they were having problems basically connecting as a team, working together as a team. And they started arguing. And John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, he said, "What is the point of a family if it devalues us as individuals," or something to that effect? We cannot forget that we are people. We are humans. We have urges, we have needs, we have wants, we have desires, we have goals. In a lot of cases, we grow up with people telling us who we're going to be. Oh, you're going to be a lawyer. You're going to be a preacher. You're going to be this. You're going to be that. And we have to learn how to let people live and be who and what they want to be. And you would not have things like that occurring. Now, whether or not you think it goes against your religion or not is irrelevant. I'm sorry, but it's irrelevant. If you think that God has a problem with that, let God deal with that. Let Allah deal with that. Let I was gonna say Buddha, but Buddha isn't a God, is he? Whatever God you serve, let that God deal with that person. But allow people to be themselves and be yourself. And don't make somebody feel like they should be marginalized or put in a box because you disagree with it. You can express your opinion, but don't make somebody feel bad. Like, as long as you're not hurting nobody, killing nobody, stealing from nobody, lying to people, as long as you're not doing all that extra ass shit, then I feel like you let people be who they want to be. Y'all are gonna hear me say that again next week. We'll get into that later. So I am not the biggest person of believing things without evidence. And this is where I get into the if he didn't do it. Now, a lot of y'all want to say he got up on in his church and he started shaking like a stripper in church. Once he got on that podium, talking about he wasn't finna address it, but he ended up addressing it anyway and all that. So that must mean he's guilty because he was nervous and all this other shit. Not necessarily. And I might get on some of y'all nerves throughout the month of me saying that, but I'm a very not necessarily person. I like to look at everything from various points of view. And you can't live your life believing that everything is absolute. So for me, I feel like if he did not do this, whoever released this information is wrong because you're literally damaging someone's reputation with the public. You're damaging their relationships in their private life, and you're affecting the entire ecosystem of what they have going on. Regardless of whether you with what they do or not, it's not right to lie on people. It's just not. Like it's unacceptable, really, to do that. So a lot of people were online basically saying, "Oh, he did it. He was lying to the people. This why I don't go to church. Nah, this why I ain't Christian. Nah, this why and all this and all that." And I'm like, I read through the information. I looked on what I could. I looked at what I could find online about the situation, and there was no proof or evidence provided. Somebody posted him at a party that was Diddy's party, and they weren't doing anything. They were outside in broad daylight. I didn't even see an alcoholic beverage throughout that video that I was looking at. So I'm like, where are people getting the fact? Where are people getting that this is true from? So I'm like, we're not seeing any videos come out of TD Jakes at a party where a bunch of nefarious shit is going on. We haven't seen that. We haven't seen a video of a long dick nigga taking TD Jakes to Pound Town and flipping his ass over and pressing him down like a fucking New York pizza. We have not seen that. So I'm like, where are people It's like people see things online and they automatically assume that it's true. They automatically just jump with it because it's social media. People will hop on something that they don't know is true, but they feel like a lot of people do feel like it's true, and they will hop on that bandwagon for the clicks, for the views, for the retweets, for the likes, and basically generate more foot traffic in their platform at somebody else's expense. And I really, really loathe and detest that shit when people do. This is a side thing. You'll have people, first of all, Twitter, anything I had a conversation with my mom about this about a week ago. Anything that you want to see on Twitter, you can see it. Whether that's somebody getting killed, whether that's somebody committing suicide, whether that's somebody showing their dick, their ass, their titties, their booty hole, you can see anything that you want to on Twitter that you might not be able to see on a TikTok, on a Instagram or Facebook. Though Facebook, y'all have been y'all have been y'all have been trying to dive into some shit lately from what I've been seeing. Because for whatever reason, I started seeing some niggas' dick. When they was doing that silhouette challenge, I saw some niggas' dick on my timeline. I'm like, why is there dick on my Facebook timeline? You know, I done seen pussy, ass, and all types of shit on my Twitter, but not on Facebook. So y'all need to get that together too. But that's a whole separate issue. Um, we have to learn how to keep our mouth closed up until real evidence comes about. We also need to heighten our requirement for what we call evidence. Just because someone says it or wrote it and published it does not mean that it happened. Where's the verification? So it's like nobody else since then has really said anything about him being there. And the people, if somebody has, are they providing proof? Are they providing evidence? So when we believe something, we need to look at it from an objective point of view. Don't look at this shit because you've had a bad relationship with the church and you feel like all these motherfuckers don't be living how they supposed to live. And that's why you can't trust no nigga, don't trust no Christian. You can't do that. You cannot carry shit like that. Look at it objectively and say, okay, is this true? How do I know this true? Where's it? What is the source that this is coming from? What evidence have they provided? What is my standard of evidence? What am I considering evidence? Is it pictures? Is it text messages? Is it videos? What will it take for me to believe that this is true? And if it is true, what are the implications of that? What are the ramifications of that? What is the resolution of that? So I feel like A, we need to heighten our standard of evidence. And B, we really need to learn how to let people live. Because if this is not true, this man is married with kids, y'all. Like, if that shit is not true, like somebody has really impacted this man's life. So I think his congregation will be fine. I think he might lose some members, but I think overall he will do just fine. It is his personal relationship that I think take the blow out of all of that. And as I'm talking about that and how it relates to personal relationships, let's move on to the next person that came up December as well. And that would be Mr. Christian Keys. Christian Keys is an actor. From what I understand, he started his career doing plays for Tyler Perry. He's done other movies. You know, he's been in the industry for quite a while at this point. Christian got onto social media and he decided to release a video basically stating that he had been inappropriately touched, assaulted by a wealthy, powerful man in the industry. He was saying that he had recordings of this individual that he would keep on him, is taking everything in him to not release those recordings. And this has happened on multiple occasions, and I believe with two different people. Y'all can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe it was two different people. A I'm gonna say this. Do I believe it's true that this happened to him? I believe that there's a strong possibility. I believe that that happens in Hollywood. I believe that he might very well have recordings of someone in conversations with someone in regards to what happened to him, in regards to someone offering him money to um uh basically be naked in front of or get in a shower in front with them or whatever it was. I believe that those things happen. However, my issue with the whole thing, I don't have a reason not to believe it. But again, I'm not on social media saying things as though I know this information is factual. I just want to put that in there. But I do think that this has happened to him. My issue with this is that it's a danger to anybody whose name is brought up who has nothing to do with this situation. A lot of people went down his IMDb. A lot of people look at his filmography and they say, okay, a lot of the people that he's worked with is Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is a billionaire. Tyler Perry is a very powerful person in the industry. And what doesn't help that is that a lot of people have made suggestions or basically suggested that he might be gay or have had some homosexual dealings in the past, and use his power and his status in order to basically make those things happen. So that didn't help the situation at all either. There was another guy he brought up. For the life of me, I cannot remember who not him, but people. For the life of me, I cannot figure out who they were bringing up. Nor do I feel like looking it up either. But he brought up another gentleman, and the issue with this is that people automatically take this information, and because it's something that they already believe it's true, because people have insinuated this in the past anyway, they go onto these people's pages, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Instagram or whatever else, and they harass these people and say nasty shit to these people and find out how to dox these people and harass their family or people they work with. And my issue is, once again, what is our standard of evidence before we start behaving as though something is true? What is our standard of evidence? Because what if these men were not involved in this? And y'all are not y'all, not the listener, but y'all know who I say when I say y'all. People are going out and basically harassing these people over something that they don't even know is true. So it's like you could be affecting so many things because you went on here and you refused to say a name. You refuse to, for me, I don't get the purpose of him coming up and him saying all of this if he's not going to take this information to the police, if he's not going to say whose actual name in it, because it's not just Tyler Perry, it's not just that other gentleman, but people are just throwing out whoever's name that they feel might be associated with this. Is it wrong that that happened to him? Yeah, hell yeah, it's wrong. I don't care if Christian was straight, gay, bi. It is not right to sit there and sexually assault somebody. Can I say that on all platforms? I'm monetizing this shit anyway. It ain't right to sexually assault somebody. It's just it's not, like, under any type of circumstance. It is not right to be sexually forward with somebody and you don't know factually that they want you sexually, or they have not expressed this to you. It's one thing if you're in a relationship with somebody and y'all in the bed and y'all getting comfortable and shit, and y'all done had y'all some Hennessy, some LSD, whatever niggas and bitches be drinking nowadays, and y'all y'all pass out, and you so happen to wake up before your partner wakes up, and you start sucking on a titty, or sucking some dick, or whatever else, and they wake up and y'all get the shit started, y'all get part two of the party started. That's one thing. What this man is talking about is a complete different thing from that. So whoever he's talking about should be brought to jail. They don't need no more work in Hollywood. They should not get no more work in Hollywood. But he didn't name a name. And my biggest issue with that is that, I'm trying to, there we go. My issue with that is that it leaves so much shit open. And I believe personally, that he did all that in order to get that person's attention so he can get paid. Because if you notice, we ain't heard shit from this nigga since then. We ain't heard a motherfucking thing from that light-skinned nigga since then. We ain't seen no police report filed. We ain't seen him post another video. We ain't seen him, we haven't seen him do a motherfucking thing. So what was the point of all that? What was the point of you going out of your way, damn near crying online, talking about this shit? I don't understand. That's me personally, that's my problem. So it's like, was it like, were you trying to get a payday off the Me Too movement? Were you really trying to get justice? Like, is it about the money or is it not about the money? So I don't know. I know that there's plenty of bisexuals and homosexuals as well as straight women that will gladly go ahead and go down on Christian Keys if they got the opportunity. He's not a bad looking guy. But it's one of those things where it's not, A, what are his motives? And B, either way, if this really happened to him, it's not right. So when you go and decide to make something public that you've been through, when you speak about it, make sure you direct it at a person, and make sure that it is so deeply serious to you that you're willing to accept the ramifications of naming names. I would transition into Monique, but we'll get on her in a minute. We got to hit something else before we get to her. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. Again, I know the conversation with both TD Jakes and Christian Keys seems open-ended because they're open-end situations. We haven't closed the book on this shit because we don't have no evidence for this shit. With Harvey Weinstein, we know the shit happened. We closed the book on that. everybody, that there's nothing left to talk about. But when we talk about issues like this, they seem like they end on a cliffhanger because there's nothing else to discuss because nothing else was brought up. So, um, I hope that whoever, if it did happen, I hope whoever Christian Keith got assaulted by does come to justice, and I hope that you know a resolution comes for TD Jakes. If he did do it, I hope he finds peace within himself. I hope that his family finds peace with him in the situation. I hope that his congregation finds peace with him, with God and whoever else. I don't wish negativity on anybody. But I understand that negativity is a part of living life, and that's just that's just what it is. Speaking of negativity, let me take a quick walk. I'm feeling like SpongeBob and a squirrel. How? Okay. Okay. I was about to be around here saying food, water, atmosphere. Okay. The next thing I want to discuss is the Club Shay Shay and the Katt Williams and Monique phenomenon that has happened over the past 2 months. So, for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure a lot of you know, all niggas know. All non-niggas, I'm not very sure what percentage of y'all know, but I'm sure all of us niggas, we know the situation. But in case there are niggas that have been under a rock, or in case there are non-niggas listening to me today, there is a comedian by the name of Katt Williams. Very popular comedian, and in my opinion, a very great comedian. He's one of the best to ever do it. There have been a lot of things said about him. There's a lot that he's been accused of over the years. He's been accused of being hard to work with, because he has also been accused of being on drugs. He's been accused of self-sabotage. He's been accused of coming for people for no reason. He's been accused of lying about roles and, all this and all that. He went on Club Shay Shay, which before this interview, keep in mind, my ass don't watch sports. So I have no idea who the fuck a Shannon Sharp is. To be honest, no clue who the hell that was before all this happened. I had no clue what the fuck a Club Shay Shay was before all this happened. So when I saw Katt Williams trending and I saw these clips coming out, I went and the first thing I watched was I believe it was 40 minutes, the first clip that I saw, and then I saw the actual interview. In the interview, he did a few things. He came after a few other comedians in the industry, with claims that certain comedians had stolen other comedians' jokes, with claims that he got roles before other comedians got roles, with claims that people are basically not who they say they are in the industry. My issue with this, and I'm going to try to keep both of these short. What is the purpose? Because a lot of people are going back and forth. From what I see online, it's like 85% are like, I'm King Katt Williams, and I believe him. And yeah, it's fucked up. Kevin Hart is an industry plant. This, this, that, and the third. And they pulling videos from 1968 and comparing them to videos in 2004 and saying, see, he was telling the truth about this and that. Okay. Let's say everything he said was true. Now what? A lot of the people that he brought up were people that are not even that big right now. Like they're still what people what people would call, I guess, legends or heavy hitters in the industry, but it's not as though they're at the height of their career type of thing. Like Ricky Smiley, he's never been that guy in Hollywood. Um, Steve Harvey has been that guy in comedy, but he's never been that guy in Hollywood. Even when he had a TV show, it was off of the strength of him being that guy in comedy. But after that, I don't recall seeing him in shit else other than small roles in a movie here or there. But he's not a heavy hitter in the Hollywood film sphere. Cedric the Entertainer, a lot of bitches can't tell you what this nigga has done after the Roscoe Jenkins movie. I believe he had another TV show, but I ain't watch. And I like Cedric the Entertainer. I like him. I sit down and I watch a whole comedy show today and get a few keys here and there. But it's just the fact of, okay, let's say these people did all that he's saying that they did. What now? These people have made most of the money that they're going to make in their lifetime. They've made that money already. Steve Harvey's worth what, 100 million, 200 million? That nigga ain't finna make another two unless he comes out with some type of mega business or has a brilliant idea or strikes a pot of gold or flies on a rainbow or some shit like that. He's not gonna make another 200 million unless he has a major business venture. So, and that would be separate from comedy, though. You know, he probably wouldn't be able to do stand up no more. But then niggas retire from stand up. So it's like, I understand. To me, it sounds like Cat Williams' issue is the industry itself, like the higher ups who dictate and pick and choose allegedly who is brought up to the forefront in Hollywood. And I think what he really could relate to was comedy, but I think he was really aiming towards Hollywood in general. And when I say Hollywood, I mean the entire entertainment sphere. So comedies, film, the music industry, things like that. I think he meant in its totality. We have people that are high up in the background that are picking and choosing who they want to be in the forefront and basically having them like puppets in order to make them the little money while they collect the bigger bag. Being that someone is of Cat Williams' skill, of Cat Williams' stature in the comedy industry, I can understand how that will be frustrating, especially when he feels like he's, if not the GOAT, then a GOAT in what he does. And he's not as successful as people as that he feels that he's better than. So the issue for me is everything that he did, everything that he said, yeah, it got hundreds of millions of views online between all the platforms and the original video itself. Yeah, it got people talking. Yeah, it the biggest thing it did was boost his sales for his tour. Which is what I think this was about in the first place. But what he did isn't gonna have an effect. If anything, it might stop some people from eating. People have been online saying, now there was a video that I saw online where Cedric the Entertainer did take a joke from an old TV show. Like that shit was verbatim. It was that Call Me By My Initials joke. He took that from that show verbatim. Now, if Cedric the Entertainer was a writer, maybe he was a writer on that show during that time period. I don't know. I ain't looked shit up, but that shit was verbatim. So people like said, you might change public perception on people like him, and people might start fucking with him. He might not be making no, as much money as he was making, but he's made most of the money that he's gonna make anyway. So it's like you could take all the business this man has now. All he has to do is sell his house, downsize, buy him a little a few acres of land somewhere. He can chill for the rest of his life if he want to, really. So it's like what did it do other than cause a bunch of people online to go back and forth, other than cause a bunch of people who don't have a high standard of evidence to go onto other people's platforms and badmouth them? If Cat Williams really wanted to shake some shit up, he would have came for the people actually pulling the strings. He came for Kevin Hart. What's the purpose of coming for Kevin Hart when you believe Kevin Hart is a puppet? Go after the puppet master, not the puppet. So it's like if you're gonna do this, do it. And that was my whole issue with the thing, is that he first of all, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I do not believe. I was just gonna say he brought up Harvey Weinstein, and Harvey Weinstein is a big string puller in the industry, but I don't believe that Harvey Weinstein offered to suck this nigga's dick. I don't. I'm sorry. Harvey Weinstein was rich and powerful. As somebody rich and powerful, I can see you offering, somebody model-esque, somebody, the type of person everybody wants. Some type, but somebody who's physically beautiful, but they don't yet have that A status or B status celebrity, like a fucking Christian Keys. You know, so he had these beautiful white bitches. Hold on, because let me look up something real quick, because I got my computer right here. Let's say Harvey Weinstein victim. And I'm looking at a picture right now. Hold on, so let me bring up these bitches. Um, yeah, these are all decent looking women. So he's able to somewhat push himself on these beautiful or moderately beautiful women. And beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. We'll get into that in a minute. And he chose, you're telling me, to offer to suck your dick, Cat Williams? I don't think so. I don't see it. Even when you talk in conversation, I have never in life heard a bitch, a nigga, a man, a woman. I have never heard nobody say, damn, Cat Williams is fine. Ever. Not never. So, like, if Harvey Weinstein offered to suck somebody's dick, I can see it being somebody that millions of people would be like, damn, you know what? If I was in a position as Harvey, I might have, I can almost understand. I ain't justifying it now for you motherfuckers in the back. I'm not justifying, but I'm just saying. So I don't I don't see it. I ain't gonna spend no more time on that. I don't see it. So I just feel like if you're gonna go out here and you're gonna claim to be a person that's gonna truth tell and all this, why don't you go for people that actually has power in the industry? And this is what I like to say, this is a separate issue, but it's you have people that complain about representation, about treatment, about all this type of stuff in the industry. You have to get your people behind the camera, behind the desk, behind the equipment. Behind you have to have people who look like you, who understand your experience, who are looking to help and provide opportunities to people on a basis of equality in the background. You can't complain about Black representation in film, Black female representation in film, like as leads, until you also look at how many Black producers do we have? How many Black directors do we have? How many Black writers do we have? How many Black studio heads do we have? When you can impact that, when you can get people that know your culture and care about providing equal opportunity and telling different stories about different people of different skin colors, then at that point you can begin to see a change of people getting opportunities that they really deserve. That's when you're going to see a change. People like to start off with what they see. The power is usually not seen. You usually don't see the big boss. At my job that I go to every weekday, I don't see the big boss. I have seen him probably 2 or 3 times in the 3 years that I've been working for the company I'm working for. You have to go for who is creating the rules, not just who's abiding by them. So I just feel like a lot of what he did, it got to, people aren't even talking about that shit anymore. And it's February. It's the next month. So it's like he gotta, it defeated the purpose. Excuse me. Then you have people like, but congratulations for Cat Williams. But before I move on, congratulations to him for basically getting his money. that seemed like that's what the objective was. That's what it did. Congratulations to him. Congratulations for Club Shay Shay for giving him that platform to boost their own platform. Congratulations are in order for everybody regarding that. About a month later, after the whole Cat Williams shenanigans, we had Monique come on the show, which a lot of people were asking for her to be on the show after that, to discuss a lot of the shit that she had been saying over the past couple, probably 10 years plus probably. And, Monique came after Tyler Perry. His name comes up again. She came after Oprah. She took a jab. I wouldn't say came after, but she took a jab at Tiffany Haddish. I'm sure we all know the story by now, so I'm not going to get too deep in that, especially since I spent so much time talking about Cat. My issue with Monique is I get what she's saying. I understand what she's saying. I understand speaking up for the truth. I understand defending yourself, especially when you haven't done anything wrong. I understand all of that she's saying. But sometimes I feel like the way she goes about expressing herself is going to be her own demise. Like, you were already labeled as difficult by a studio, by a director who is also at this point a studio head, and by someone who owns their own entire network. You said no to these people. Cool. But they then have the freedom to do whatever they want once you tell them no. If they want to label you as difficult, they can do that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but you provided them the gun to shoot you in the foot, is what I'm saying. And you bring up, oh, you can't be silent because you watch all these Black women die sad and lonely. We don't realize until after they've died that they were telling the truth the whole time, or after they died, then that at that point people want to understand them, and you're not going to be that person. You're going to fight for the people coming up behind you. All of that is great. I understand it. I get it, and I'm here with you. But when you get on a stage and you tell niggas to suck your dick, if you had one, when you record phone calls that were meant to be private, you aren't encouraging others. You're seemingly validating what they're saying. And then B, unless you get work from Lee Daniels, from Lionsgate, from Tyler Perry or Oprah, there's probably not many more studios or producers that are gonna want to work with you because of how you carried the situation. I give you an example. I'm gonna bring up Justice League again. Justice League, the actual movie, like the live action movie. The guy who played Cyborg, the black guy Ray Fisher. Once the movie came out, he had made a bunch of statements about the racism and mistreatment by the producers and how he was treated unfairly and they were treated unfairly by the new director who had came in once the old director left. You know, he made this big stink on social media. Whether he was right or wrong in voicing what his experiences were, I don't know. You know, that was his experience. If he wants to voice it, he can voice it. But you need to understand the people who are going to understand you and what you've been through are not in power. So you put your entire career at risk by coming out and doing this. Again, is it right that he did it? It very well could be. But these people are still free to react how they want to react to the way that you reacted. So am I a play the game type of person? If you want the success that a lot of people get, that extreme success, that cracking $100 million success, then you got to play the game. You got to play the game all the way through, or you got to play the game until you yourself are in a position of power to change that. And that's the issue I have with Monique, is like you're doing all of this, but unless these people that you're talking about, unless they give you work, you're probably not going to get much work. And that's my issue with it. And then, you know, there was a whole situation of her son coming out with the video after that. And then she came out with another video saying that, basically trying to refute what he was saying. And she posted text messages that she was really wrong for. She was wrong for doing like that. That had nothing to do with us as a populace. Like that had nothing to do with us. And then her son came out with another video. Cat Williams' shit is different from this. Like even her situation with the producers of the studio heads is different from this situation. Do not put your family business online. Don't do that. Because with me, I've been through a lot. I've had to grow a lot. I've had a lot of disagreements with my family. We're luckily, thankfully, in a much better space than where we are. I've had situations where I've been lied on. I've been molested as a kid. I've had a lot of stuff go on, but I have not aired this shit out. And said, "Oh, this person did this. And I had an issue." Like family is one of those things where if you have a, you have to determine who's for you and who's not, because not all family is for you. There are some people who are truly greedy. There are some people who are truly selfish. There are some people that are truly conniving and deceitful and trifling, that they will do anything to either put you down or to get over on you or to they use you to put themselves ahead. There are a lot of people that will do things like that, family or not. So, the first order of business, establish who is your real family. And once you do that, all issues that you guys have, talk about it amongst yourselves. Don't bring in outside people or reveal your business to outside people that don't have nothing to do with the situation. Because these people, as you can see with the previous issues that I've been saying, feel the need to get themselves involved, feel the need to interject their own opinion. Like after Monique's son released the video he released, there was a bunch of people saying that, "Oh, you should be ashamed of you of how you treated him as a mother. You should be ashamed." You all invite all this shit in when you air out your family business. And that's one thing I am incredibly against, is that. Even if I sit here, like even on this podcast, if I talk about a situation that I've been through with a family member, I'm not gonna say a name and I'm not gonna say what family member it is. It's for the purpose of that is for me to share my experience with somebody so they can learn and possibly make different decisions than what I did. The purpose of that would be to take accountability. The purpose of that would be to motivate or inspire someone else to take a different path than what I chose to take. It is not to clear my name or to make. I didn't like it. I really, really did not like that situation at all. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that they get past everything. I'm hoping that they do have a meeting amongst each other where he can forgive her and she can learn better ways, healthier ways to be the mother that he's expecting her to be and not the mother that he's gotten allegedly all these years. And that's what I'm just gonna leave that there. My overall issue is that, I kind of watched the latest thing that Club Shay Shay put out, which wasn't as, messy as this. Um, Shannon Sharpe is a successful Black man. I wish that man all the success in the world. But I hope that his show does not eventually turn into this thing that only causes more division in our community, more arguments in our community, and not providing solutions to actually get things done. That's my overall concern. So, that's my opinion on that. I'm gonna get into two more things as far as entertainment is concerned. Then I'm gonna move on to my Twitter read segment, and I'll explain exactly what that is in a moment. And if I do have time, I'll get into the last thing I want to discuss. Because I am rolled up on an hour now. If not, then I'll save that for next week. So we just had the Super Bowl recently, and Taylor Swift got proposed to, which that's not, I don't consider myself a Taylor Swift fan. I don't listen to Taylor Swift music. I haven't heard a Taylor Swift song that resonates with me. I don't have nothing against the woman. But I'm just not a fan. But I'm not a fan of a lot of artists. That doesn't mean I hate them or have anything against them or anything like that. I didn't care. that she got engaged at the Super Bowl and everybody was making a big deal about it and all that. You know, that it was neither here or there for me. Um, but what did bother me was that people, someone posted online basically saying, imagine getting engaged at the Super Bowl and then coming home to clap these cheeks. And they posted a picture of Taylor Swift basically standing from the side so you can basically see her body shape. And a lot of people were making comments about her body. You know, Taylor Swift is not walking around with a wagon. You know, she ain't got junk in the trunk. She ain't, you know, her ass ain't got weight on it. You know, it ain't she ain't got no heavy shit. You know, if she walked through the hall, there ain't no wind that's being moved through that bitch. You know, if she slide down the aisle of a church between the seats, she ain't gonna knock a bitch hat off. You know, she has a rather, you know, she has a rather surfboard, iron board, countertop ass. And a lot of people were basically saying, you know, how they were agreeing with that. And you know what my opinion is. And some of y'all might have an opinion on this too. Some of y'all might share that opinion. Uh how I feel is there are people, I understand that most people in our society today base their relationships off of sex and sexual attraction. A lot of that is first priority for people. People will rather fuck you first, figure out if the sex is good, and if the sex is good, oh, now let's talk about being in a relationship. Bitch, you don't know me. That's how people operate. People want the people, you know, the people who they be in a relationship with, they search for the fat asses, the big titties, the big dick, the tall nigga, the small petite female, the, you know, people, most people are like that, I feel. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's how you operate, if that's how you figure that you'll be happy in a relationship by putting that as a priority, if that's a priority for you, it's a priority for you. But you have to understand that there are people in the world that don't operate on the same level of attraction that you do. They don't go out and be like, oh, well, I ain't talking to no bitch that ain't got a fat ass. Or I ain't talking to no nigga who ain't tall and got a big dick. Or I ain't talking to a nigga that, or a nigga who ain't got no upper lip. Or I ain't talking to a bitch who barely got any titties. A lot of people aren't like that. There are some people that will get to know you as a person and fall in love with you as a person. There are some people that feel as though your body is a bonus. It's not the main course. There are some people amongst us that really want a soul connection with somebody that isn't based primarily solely on what makes the coochie wet, what makes the dick hard. There are people like that. You know, I used to be a big comic book movie person. So I used to watch this show on YouTube, and I think they're still running. It's called The John Campea Show. And on this show, he has recurring hosts, rotating hosts that come on the show weekly. And I'll never forget, there was this actor on there. Her name is Chris Carr. And I forgot what they were discussing. But a statement that she made that always stuck with me is, don't yuck on anybody else's yum. I'll say that again. Don't yuck on anybody else's yum. I still struggle with that myself. But I do the mental work of whenever I'm having that thought, I stop myself and be like, you know what, Kyle? We're different people. If that's what they're interested in doing, if that's what they want to do, it does not make them wrong for doing it. If they enjoy it, they enjoy it. That's just not something that I would do, and that's fine. It's fine that they do it, and it's also fine that that's something that I wouldn't do. So you can't, just because you don't like the fact that Taylor Swift is pale with a flat ass does not mean that somebody else isn't going to look at her and see a beautiful human being. Like, y'all gotta let that shit go. If he truly loves her and she truly loves him and they're really in love and they're happy, I'm happy for him. I really am. I don't, like I said, I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift. I don't particularly, care about her at all. But you know, real love is rare, and you have to ask yourself at some point, why is real love so rare? Why is it that a lot of people end up being in toxic relationships? Why is it that people go through this honeymoon stage just for things to fall off? How are we going about how we enter in relationships? Are we looking for the next best nut? Are we looking for whoever's going to give us the strongest nut in order to be in a relationship with them? And if we really aren't compatible as people, hey, the sex is good, so we just gonna deal with it. Are we looking to look good online so we can post pictures of ourselves for other people to like and click and say, oh, I know they sex good, or I wish I was them, or I wish I was in a relationship with her? Are we doing it for that while in the background they in the backyard fist fighting in the living room shaking the table? You know, how are we conducting who is qualified to be in a relationship with us? How are we conducting the list of people that we pursue? So I just think that's something to think about. That's something that I might get into on a different date, but basically leave that bitch alone. Leave that bitch alone. Let her live her glorious white girl life, and let her enjoy her fiance, and let him enjoy her. Like, there was bitches online talking about, like somebody said, hold on, I need another squiggle water. I've been talking for a motherfucking hour. So there was somebody, just to get this out of the way real quick. There was somebody basically saying, uh, there is this not Instagram, but TikTok couple, which I'm sure a lot of y'all have heard by now, Miss Meta and Charles. Charles, your lunch is ready. That bitch. And they've been recently taking pictures and doing music videos, all this other type of stuff. I saw on Twitter, somebody was like, Charles look a little, they were basically implying that he looked a little good in the suit that he had on. And somebody did a quote retweet and said, I keep calling it Twitter. That shit is X now. I'm just realizing that. I'm still calling it Twitter. So on Twitter, they were basically saying, she retweeted it and said, oh, well, he ugly. I don't know what y'all bitches be seeing. Y'all just be settling for anything. Why do you feel the need to yuck on another person's yum? If that bitch finds him attractive, why do you feel the need to go to the post, to press quote, to write it, and then press send? Why? Why do you feel the need to say how much you don't like something? I wish people would really invest more time in promoting the things they like and the things that they love instead of talking so much about shit they hate. Like, I really wish people would do that. If she thinks that nigga looks fine, then let her think that. That is her brain. If she believes that, she believes that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong for somebody to think that somebody's attractive that you don't find attractive. That's fine. But let people live. And I think this is the reason why people do what they do, and why people feel pressure to like people feel oh, I need to find somebody better than my ex. I need to find somebody that we can stun online with. I need to find somebody that's gonna give me clicks, likes, and views. I need to find me a porn star person so we can, it's people need to self-reflect and grow the fuck up and realign their priorities, because the shit's ridiculous. It's tacky. It's out of line. It's dusty and it's uneven. Okay? Self-reflection really is waiting on a lot of y'all at the door, and y'all ain't opened the door in a very long time because y'all scared to look at yourselves. But let me move on. I was going to talk about, you know what? The last thing I was going to talk about, I'll push that to next week, and we'll discuss these last two things. Cause I'm rolling up on an hour in 10 minutes. Well, I'm past the hour in 10 minutes at this point. So, and I'm glad I kind of mentioned all of that, because that kind of it kind of goes directly into what the fuck I'm going to talk about next. I don't particularly care to talk about this issue. But it's an issue with deeper undertones and meanings to it. I'm pretty sure this is another thing that you motherfuckers have heard. But y'all heard about this Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion beef. And Nicki and Megan allegedly had been taking shots at each other in the music, and Megan decided to release a song called Hiss recently, and Hiss made a lot of buzz because she made a statement. She made several statements about alleged several people in the song. She ain't named no names, but she just dropped certain things, and people connected dots like they did in all these other situations I've been talking about, and basically inferred that she was talking about this person, that person, or that person. There was a line in the song in where she says, "These bitches ain't mad at Megan. These bitches just mad at Megan's law." I don't know if that's verbatim, but that's the gist of what she said. Megan's law is a law that has to do with the registry of pedophiles in particular communities that are located near kids or areas where kids are, but basically keeping the community up to date on where these people are living, because they have to report these things. Nicki Minaj's husband, I'm not gonna say did I say pedophiles? Not pedophiles, but generally sexual offender. Nicki's husband, as many of you all know, has been involved in cases where he was convicted of sexual assault. And she felt some type of way about this. And she went online and she basically started calling Megan all types of things and all of that. And the story itself is not something that I want to talk about, because plenty of people have talked about it. And like I said, I don't necessarily care about talking about entertainment. I care about talking the deeper issues behind it. And for me, the deeper issue behind this was stan culture. And again, stan culture is toxic culture. It is not a problem for you to be a big fan of somebody. It's not a problem for you to you know, want to purchase this person's stuff or follow them or write them or DM them about how much you're a fan and all this type of stuff. The issue comes in where you feel so insecure about your position as a fan of that person, or you feel so obsessed in your belief that that person is better than anybody else at what they do, that you feel the need to go online and bash, badmouth, and dox people. That is a problem. And not only is it a problem, it's dangerous. Like people were, I'm gonna say allegedly, um, like talking about they were gonna trash a dead person, like Megan's mother's who's deceased, her grave. And it's like y'all are doing this over some shit that don't have nothing to do with y'all. Now, I could almost understand if it has something directly to do with you. Because like let's say if somebody like did something to my mom or my family members or anything like that, let me tell you something. I will beef with you forever. I will anytime I see you, I'm finna beat your ass. Anytime I could hear that your ass die, I will hold my shit for a week. I will stop the entire funeral until everybody leave that grave and I will shit on your casket before they put the dirt over it. I am that person. If you do something to the people that are connected to me, I am that person. But over an artist, I just I don't get it. Like I don't know. I'm not that type of person to be a fan for an artist. I'm not the type of person to have an artist as my screensaver or, on my computer or to dress up like an artist to going to their concert or to argue with niggas and bitches online because they disagree with something the artist did or said or didn't like something that they put out. Like I'm not that person. So I don't know if it's maybe just because I don't understand, but I think anybody should be able to see that there's a clear danger in that for your dedication to be so ironclad about somebody that you don't even personally know. Like, I love anybody who knows me well knows that I love me some Jill Scott. I love me some Erykah Badu. I love me some Tidra Moses. I am not arguing with nobody online about those niggas. I'm sorry, about those women. I refuse. For what? For what? It's like their music has helped me through a lot. Their music has impacted me in a lot of situations where I needed it to. It's got me through, some very crazy ass shit. But I've never, despite me being a fan, I've went online and I've shared love to these women, but I've never bashed anybody who I thought was competition or badmouth somebody else who I thought was competition. Like I don't do that. And we as humans, we seem to have this thing, like even when you talk about politics and religion, which is why people don't even discuss it like that anymore, publicly, people feel some type of way when you disagree with what they strongly believe. And people need to understand people are not subjected to feeling how you feel about a thing. I personally am not a fan of Drake. I was working with a coworker some years ago, and she, I told her that I'm not a big fan of Drake, and she said, "Oh, you gonna find you a song today that you like? You gonna find at least one." And she played Drake the entire shift, and it was a night shift, so it was like from 10 to like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. All I heard was Drake. I did not hear a single song that I was like, I can see why people are crazy like that about Drake. I just never been a fan. But I'm not finna hop online and shit on people that do like him. If y'all like him, y'all like him. If he go number one 20 weeks in a row, then that's great for him. It's great for y'all. Y'all have y'all music. Y'all being supplied with stuff that y'all love. He's being even more successful. I I'm happy for y'all and for him and for all of that. But that doesn't make me feel any type of way because my artists aren't reaching those heights or had those accolades or had that money. That doesn't make me feel that because they aren't my accomplishments. I'm more concerned about how the artist's project have affected my life personally. And I make sure sometimes that I share that love. I give them a little shout out on or something like that. Or I'll share a little song that I like from them or something like that. But I'm not gonna go back and forth with nobody. I'm not gonna cause violence to somebody or threaten somebody with violence over that. Like that's crazy to me. So in the comment section, if any of y'all can further explain this to me, if any of y'all can further justify this to me, I would love to hear your opinion about it because I don't understand. And I'm not calling all stands crazy because there are stands that are really stands for somebody, really fans of somebody, and they don't shit on other people or other artists. Um, it's either a very loud majority or a very loud minority, and I can't tell which one it is because it's online and you just don't know. So if someone has a difference of opinion on that and can explain to me, this from a different point of view, I would greatly appreciate it. But overall, I feel like stan culture is dangerous. Dangerous, not healthy, not effective. Uh, it ain't it. I don't like that. So I'm gonna get into my last uh little segment before I go because I need to go because I've been over here for almost an hour and a half. So it's time for me to motherfucking go. Like I said before, I don't know if people really want to hear a nigga speaking for 2 hours plus. Clearly, my ass can talk. I probably could go for that long, but do y'all really want to sit here and listen to me talk that long? Is the question. Um, so this segment I call Twitter reads, and it's like little things that I see on Twitter, and I give my little quick opinion about it. I'm not gonna mention any usernames, of course, and all that. It's just I'm gonna read it, give my opinion on it, move to the next one. I got 3 right here in front of me. So the first one is I'm gonna try to make this short because I want to try to end this around 1:30. The first one is I can tell this girl loved me by the way she eat my pussy. Again, I will say, I can tell this girl loved me by the way she eat my pussy. This is a gullible statement to make, a naive statement to make. Um, one one thing I've learned in my life over these past 10 years is that you can it's very possible for you if you feel some type of way about somebody, it's very possible for you to be making love to them while at the same time they are just fucking you. Okay? Because you can you can have a very good moment with somebody. What people tend to do, if you keep in mind, I said earlier, a lot of people base who they talk to and who they are in a relationship with on what's most sexually appealing to them, not necessarily what's a good personal match, like as people and personalities. If someone's fucking you, you fucking somebody, and they're giving you all of this energy, it's very possible that they're gonna be more passionate with you simply because you check off all of their boxes of sexual attraction. That's very possible. So with you could be sexually attracted to them, yes, but with you, you're taking it from a more emotional standpoint. So with you, you're looking at what's being done as, oh, this person's making love to me. We had this great passionate relationship, and you out here getting your dick sucked or your ass ate or your pussy ate, and this person's all into it, but they're into it because you fit that fetish. So I'm not going to say that the statement isn't true, but it's not necessarily true. So keep that shit in mind. That's like somebody online. This, this is gonna be a second one, but I'm gonna add it anyway. Somebody online was basically saying that raw sex makes the bond stronger, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. Like for you, if you're someone that doesn't give your body up to a plethora of people, and B, you don't have raw sex with people like that unless you really fuck with them heavy, you're gonna perceive you having raw sex with somebody very differently from somebody who frequently does. Okay? Unless that person just likes you anyway. So if you have somebody, for instance, let's say if you have a man that frequently has sex raw, to the point where it's a trivial thing for him. He's the type of person, he'll show up to the house. You ask him where the condom is. He be like, "Oh, I don't know where the condom is," knowing that he ain't come up, knowing that he ain't show up with one because normally he be fucking raw. Um, when you let him hit in your mind because you don't let people do that, you think in your mind, "Oh, this person's special," and this, that, and the third. While this person, you fucking just getting a nut. So understand that there are people who have in their mind believed that they made love, they had a beautiful experience, and the next morning they don't know they got cheated on. He done went and got his dick sucked by Sally down the street the next morning because in his mind you was just some good ass, some good pussy amongst the plethora he's already had. Uh, and that's one thing I'm a type of person, I can't stand somebody saying I love you during sex. I'm not a fan of it. I'd rather you say I love you to me for absolutely no reason out of nowhere. Like you just look at me, you be like, I love you. I think that is more powerful than somebody saying it in the heat of sex. Because I could very well check off all your boxes and you're getting caught up in the heat of the moment and you're saying at that moment when I don't know you fucking with Tom, Dick, and Harry. So that's a statement I don't really like. Single does not mean the following one. Single does not mean lonely and or desperate. Change the narrative, enjoy you. I agree with this. I do. I've gone on uh a recent path of being celibate and being single. Well, deciding to continue to be single because I've been single almost 2 years. I dated since my last relationship. I've been single almost 2 years. I made the decision recently to not date, or not have sex. Will that change? I don't know. I have no idea. But I'm very content in the space I'm at right now. I feel like there are moments that I do get lonely. There are times where I'm laying in bed and I wish that somebody that I cared for and who also cared for me genuinely, for real, was there. But I don't see me being single as this thing of sadness. You can find a lot of self-empowerment in the time that you spend by yourself. And I think sometimes We have people that are used to being in relationships or used to having sex, and they get so involved in these things where they use these things to neglect issues within themselves that need to be resolved. They use it as a distraction. And I've been guilty of that plenty of times. And not just the relationships that I've been in, but some of the dating, well, not I didn't say some, but a dating situation that I've been in. You have to look within yourself, figure out what do you want for you, and go out and do it. You know, with me, I kept myself from living a lot of life because I had so much belief in my heart that something was going to change with the situations that I've been in, with the people I've been attached to, that I stopped living trying to wait on that love to bloom. And for me, now being single and not having to deal with dating anymore, now being celibate and not being concerned about sex anymore, I'm like, okay, what is it do I want to do? So everything that I had planned on doing with a partner, I just plan on doing by myself. And I've made a lot of steps on, I'm going to be moving out of my apartment soon. I'm going to be, saving up to getting a house. I'm going to be doing a lot of more traveling. Everything that I thought I'd be building with somebody with, I'm going to build myself because I know I have the power to do that by myself. And I choose to not allow me to hold myself back from doing that simply because I'm waiting on somebody to come and build with me. And you got to understand, a lot of people are not looking to build with you. They're looking to benefit off of what you've built. They want you perfect when they arrive. They want you to have all the money. They want you to know what all you're doing as far as sex. They want you to know, how to navigate through your credit, how to they want you to be a fully formed person while they have imperfections because they want to benefit. Because they want to live off the fat of the land. And you got to take that shit into consideration. I'm not saying everybody does that. But what I'm saying that there are plenty of people out there that are like that. That want to mooch off you and what you got going on, or want to use you for what you got or what you got going on. Or just want to use you for whatever their purpose is while you're being genuine. So just because you're single, that is not a sad thing. It's very normal for you to feel lonely. Don't be desperate. And because if you're desperate, you're going to find yourself in another fucked up situation. If you allow loneliness to take over to the point where you're like anybody is better than nobody, then you're going to find yourself unhappy. So that's my, that's my last little message for the day as far as that. So we have reached the end point for the day. I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna let y'all go. Cause I gotta edit this shit. I gotta work. I got other stuff to take care of. Next week. Hold on. I'm a little disorganized. Hold on. Wait a minute. Let me get my paper. Next week, I will be doing more Twitter reads. I'll be discussing trans people versus society. In various topics as far as that's concerned. I'll be discussing the impact of social media on society. I'll be discussing relationships as they relate to opportunists and narcissistic individuals. And I'll also be discussing the use of the N-word by non-Black people. What's going to be a separate segment from this is I mentioned it earlier. It'll be this month's anime. I'm thinking about doing Demon Slayer because I've watched all seasons of that. That's gonna be on a separate post. Like, it's not gonna be included. I'm gonna chop this up into clips and put it on YouTube and my other social media platforms. But this is gonna be its own separate thing, separate from the main podcast, basically. I might pop up with more very specific topics and videos in the future. We'll see. But yeah, this has been nice sitting here talking to myself in the middle of my living room with no one around but my cat, talking to possibly no one. This was nice. It was nice to get my thoughts out because I say all this shit in my head anyway, as though someone's listening. So thank you for listening. Don't forget to share, comment, and subscribe as the motherfuckers be saying on YouTube. Make sure you eat well, eat healthy, get some sleep, be safe, and find something this week, this weekend, this month to do that you really enjoy. Y'all stay safe.